Welcome to the Glow Up Method. My name is Natasha, and I am here to talk to you guys about so many good things. This place is the place where we can connect. We talk about our life stories. We are looking for inspiration and motivation through these stories, through these wisdoms that can help us on a path that ultimately is our responsibility to live a life that we are proud of. So like a life that I am proud of, a life that you are proud of, and nobody else. I feel like for so many years, worrying about the judgment of others and the opinions of others really skewed it in a way that I was living a life I was proud of. I wasn't like necessarily doing things that I was like, ugh, you know? I mean, and sometimes we're all human, right? We're not always on our best behavior, even though we want to be, but like we do things, right? But a lot of times it was like, almost like I was living a life to make someone else proud, to be like, wait and hear, like, I'm proud of you, you're doing a good job, here's your A, here's your raise, here's your whatever. It was like all these external validations, right? I'd lose weight to hear, people saying, oh, you look like you've lost weight. And, like everything was about like these external forces. And this whole concept of living a life that makes you proud is about finding your inner voice and leaning into it. And that doesn't mean you know all the answers, because Lord, let me tell you, I did not know all the answers, and I still don't know all the answers. This is a discovery journey. And the things that I discover along the way, it's like I wasn't ready to heal, or I wasn't ready to use those tools yet. It was like me learning how to use my hands, and you're shoving this like, crazy electric drill that you need all this, instruction and mechanisms for, when really all I could probably handle was a screwdriver or something like that. So, you have to grow, and then the tools that you acquire build. You have this, it's an evolution, and it's an evolution of you. And the beautiful thing about it is it's never too late to start. And guess what? We can be human and make mistakes, and then say, you know what? I'm going to learn from them. I talked on here yesterday about an interaction with my daughter, and it still hurts me. And I know she's still hurting, and that hurts. And instead of getting wrapped up myself in saying like, let me be defensive, and because it's like I just want to prove to her like I am a good mom. I want to prove to her that I know sometimes it feels like, I hear you saying, it feels like I don't love you, or it feels like you're on your own, or whatever it is. And I'm here to say it's not that way, and I want her to believe it. But I guess my actions don't necessarily align. So today's subject that's like a whole side part. My whole thing today is about getting things done. I've really been, talking about, with the new year, getting things done, working on your gratitude every day, making these changes in your life to elevate you, right? So one of the things I was talking about on here, everything I talk about on here, everything that I'm experiencing in real life. Like I'm in a lot of times real time, sometimes in past time. And even if it happened in the past, there is this reflection time. And there's a lot of growth that happens in the reflection when you have this beauty of space and distance between you. Just like with Chris and I. When we were in the thick of it and in each other's faces and wanting to see everything terrible about one another and validate it, like, okay, you can be nice for 1 second, and then something terrible, was not even that terrible, but like any form of tone that was rude, or any form of, disrespect, any form of not contributing, we really took personal. It was like, see, yep, that confirms every single thing I said about this person, And so what that beauty of space gave me was more clarity. It gave me this clarity to see, like, you know what? He isn't that bad. Like, he isn't that bad. And even if he was, like, it's not necessarily about him. Like, it's about how did I show up in a relationship? And I know that sounds really one-sided, but that's all I have control of. I don't have control of what happens to Chris today outside of this house. Like, I don't have control of how his work goes. I don't have control over who calls him. I don't have control over who he calls. I don't have control of any of that. And to have this illusion in my mind, or disillusion, that I had any control or any power over that, quite frankly, it just upsets me because I don't. He can come home and feel depressed. He can come home and feel happy. He can come home and feel sad, mad, everything in between. And there's nothing I can do about it. I can support him. I can love him regardless. I can give him space. I can ask him what it is he needs for support. But I can't do anything else. And so what I'm really realizing is it goes back to a lot of times like controlling your controllables. And for me, setting that tone really helps me because I can't control how Chris feels and I cannot control how my daughter feels. I want to control the narrative by defending myself, by giving her gifts and giving her examples of when I was a good mom and all these things. But at the end of the day, that doesn't move the needle forward. How I show up today is all that matters to me. How Chris shows up today is what matters. Is he communicating? Is he trustworthy? Is he being there for me? So getting things done instead of just ruminating. When I had all these intense feelings for Chris that I didn't quite understand, that I was very confused by because I was not expecting them, I reached out, and instead of, just sitting there and laying in bed and crying about it, I reached out to people. I reached out to people in my community. I reached out to my parents, who I rarely ever talk about life with. I just always say everything is fine. And I don't really necessarily trust their judgments a lot of times because I look at their lives and I'm like, what the heck? No, that's not, listen, I need to talk to people whose lives I want to be like not these crazy things, although they are filled with wisdom. And so I appreciate it. And there was no miraculous advice or no miraculous sayings or anything, but there was at least the conversations that happened, and my dad felt very uncomfortable because he's unused to seeing me unhappy. And, my mom was super supportive, and I appreciated that. They were both supportive in every way they could. It just, like I said, I'd always wanted to protect those people around me and not tell them the true story and send my representative, and especially so with my dad, because I didn't want to see him cry, and I always took care of him when I was a kid. And so, but having the courage to be able to say, hey, I'm hurting and I'm crying, and is this normal, and all these things, it was a release for me. And so, again, we've talked a lot about here this year. It's a new year for me. I know a lot of time you see this is probably in the middle of the year, but it's a new year, which means there's new beginnings, right? Every day we wake up, in a sense, we're reborn. It's a new day. There's a clean slate. Yeah, we're carrying over some things, but we really do have the decisions and the opportunity to make today day one. It doesn't matter that it's a Wednesday or it's the middle of the month or the end of the month, wherever you're at. Today can be day one for change. And so, one of the things that I have been very much experiencing in my life experience is overwhelm. Why am I overwhelmed? I mean, I have 4 kids. That, number one, is overwhelming, right? That's a big number. Right now, I'm technically a single mom with 4 kids, so that's a 1-to-4 ratio, and I'm half a person right now. I've got a lot of stuff going on to where I'm probably not showing up as the best mom as I humanly possibly can. I'm doing the best I can right now, given the time. But in the scheme of my time, I probably would judge myself as a B, I'm not physically there right now when my kids are sick. And while you're asking, well, what else would you do when your kids were sick? Well, we would be okay, you guys double up, we would figure it out. But I'm not. So that's a choice, right? I'm not there. I'm 10 minutes away, and I come in and out and things like that. But at night I'm here, and, my son's calls or texts me, we've communicated and things like that. But in order for me to understand what I want to do with my future, this is a form of getting things done. My uncle was a huge advocate of this getting things done concept. And, I have always been feeling there's reasons why I don't get things done. It's number one, procrastination. I have this fear. Like I don't know how to do everything. Like nobody's taught me how to do it. And I know I'm the only one here to teach myself how to do things. And I can ask for resources, but ultimately I still need to figure out how to do this. And I need to make decisions. And sometimes decisions are really difficult. Like, do I keep this? Do I donate this? Do I throw it in the garbage? Do I give it to somebody? Like every piece of thing that I've acquired, it requires a decision to be made on it. And so I also have this, like, for so many years, this desire to be perfect and look perfect on the outside, yet everything on the inside was in turmoil and chaos, right? Like I've described on here, if you ever want to know how I'm doing as a person, just take a peek into my room. Like that will tell you everything. If it's a chaotic mess, like, listen, like, just literally give me a blanket, a teddy bear, and to say, go lay down. Like, and I won't be able to, but like, that's like, there's so much going on inside. And as my room gets cleaner and decluttered, like it used to be cluttered with so much stuff and I'd hoard on to everything. And, oh, somebody gave me this picture, or somebody gave me this thing. And it would be, just everywhere because I didn't want to let go. I didn't want to let go of those memories. I didn't want to hurt their feelings. And I put all this value in things. And what I've learned now is to slowly just start releasing things and know that at the end of the day, it's what's inside here. I'm holding on to millions of things that, again, like I said, I don't even know, like, for what? Because somebody gave it to me to hold on to, and now it's temporarily in my possession, and now I'm going to give it to my kids, and do they even want this thing? Like, why am I doing all this? So for part of me, I've talked on here about decluttering. Decluttering has been a big thing. The other day I went home, everybody was sleeping. So I started like really cleaning out the courtyard with the leaves, blown, like had fallen all down, that my fountain, I have a water fountain that I adore and I love. I rarely buy myself something, and I bought myself this, and it's a really special thing to me. I had bought it at a time where, I was struggling with some stuff, and it just brought me this beauty and joy and serenity and peace. And so I was really, really proud of myself for buying this thing. And it wasn't that expensive, but even the thought to even buy that was just something I really wanted and wouldn't do. And I did that. And so I love my fountain. I cleaned it all out. I got it working again. Chris used to always help and do the clean outs. And so I felt like such a big girl, like, okay, I can do this. And, and I listened to it. And then I started cleaning out the garage. And I mean, it was like so many little things, like this lint thing in the dryer. And, like there's like years of lint that somehow piled up in here. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so dangerous, right? Like this is a fire hazard. And then just cleaning up things in the garage, like being like, this has got to go donate. This has got to go to the garbage. It like cleared up these huge walkways where every time I had walked into my garage, it just felt like this chaotic thing. And it was this heavy weight on me of like, here's something else you got to do. Like I said, I opened it. So yeah, it's not perfect because I spent hours in there, and yet it's still not done. But I made so much progress. I'm really proud of the progress I made where it was made and the clarity that it's given me. And it's just this metaphor. It's this symbolism of how that same experience can go to anything in life. It could be a drawer. It could be a room. It could be a relationship. Sometimes we need to clean up the gunk to make space for new. And, Chris and I are kind of at this place where, we're really enjoying where we're at. And we know that there's some gunk in the closet. And I know that it's not healthy to not address it. But on the same turn, it's like, if we agree to show up differently, then perhaps every single thing that was wronged by us doesn't need to come up. Like, can we take who we are right now and say, what can we do and grow forward from it? And when something comes up in real time that like triggers us because there's this old wound, that's a great time to deal with it instead of being like, hey, let's sit down and do this. But we got to get things done, right? Like in order to move forward. When we do this, like a lot of times, so we have procrastination, overwhelm, like an overwhelm is another huge reason I don't get things done. I'm like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. There's so much. And that's how it was when I opened my garage. I mean, literally, you had to step over Christmas boxes. You had to step over, snow tubes, like all these random things. It doesn't even snow here in California. I haven't been in the snow in years because my kids always have sports or activities or broken knees. So I haven't been to the snow in years. Why am I holding on to all these snow tubes? Where am I going? I have these memories with my kids and my family and Chris, and he would shovel out these like snow hills for us and the kids, and they were wild, and it was great memories. And so I don't want to let them go. Those beautiful times of our life, I don't want to let them go. I mean, that was the whole, that's what got me through those really tough days, was like those memories and those moments. And having the tube in which we played on isn't going to bring back those memories, but having the space in there to create new memories, to create new experience, to create new moments is really important. And so I start to feel overwhelmed because I don't know what to do. And that will keep me from doing things. And then the last reason that I finally kind of like am like just trying to get things done is like, I just make it too big. Like, I feel like the whole, I used to be like, okay, if I'm starting to clean the garage, it needs to be finished today. And it's like, no, we can just do our best. Maybe I need to set a timer and say, I can only do 10 minutes today, or I can do 20 minutes. For a little while I had this thing, and it was brought on by my uncle, and it was like getting things done where it was like, okay, then, every week I'm going to donate 5 things. I'm going to throw away 5 things, and I'm trying to not acquire more. I think having this shift in this mindset where I'm now realizing I am in this different chapter of my life, and how do I want my future to look? Well, I really love to travel. I really want to see some beautiful sights of the world. I don't want to be paying rent to house things like a tube my kid played on 20 years ago that I could go buy again for $10. Like, I really need to look at the things and ask myself, how does this move my life forward? And when we have this mental clarity, we're able to make these decisions with rationality, like make these decisions when we have the clarity of what our why is. My why is I don't need that much. I know that sometimes I acquire a lot of things. I feel like this comfort, right? But I also feel this peace now as I release. And that peace that I release is so imperative in the journey, because it leaves space to either just enjoy nothing, right? Just have that like, this looks great. Or you can fill it with things that help you to move your life forward, things that bring you joy now, this new version of you. Because we're always changing. I mean, if we're reborn every single day and we have this new clean slate with us, well, I'm different than yesterday. And yes, I'm going to be influenced by what happened yesterday and what my environment is, but I have the power to change that. And it is this beautiful gift to be able to get things done. So whether it be, paperwork that I get my stuff checked off, something as simple as like, okay, an Amazon return, or, send out a thank you card, or, get things done for my business. I think having the space where I'm not feeling constantly overwhelmed and unsure of what to do, by creating those spaces and opening the garage and being like, I'm home, I feel peace. Like, having that opportunity allows me to move about my day more freely. And so getting things done doesn't have to be a physical thing. There's a lot of mental things. Like I say, I have to-do lists so long that I never got them to done, and some things I have to just be content that it won't be done. Some things I just keep holding on because I don't know how many years we're supposed to keep receipts anymore nowadays. Like, aren't these all on the computer? Like, do I need to keep all these like paper receipts? So many things I'm just uncertain. And, some of my kids' shoes, I'm like, how many of these shoes, like, do you guys wear if they're still sitting in here? Like, there's so many things that are just no longer necessary in my life. And one of those things is like the drama. I really do just crave the peace. I really do crave and enjoy when I go to the gym and how great I feel. And why is it not? If this is a life that I'm creating, a life that I'm proud of, why is it not that I can't feel like that as my baseline, right? Like, I can have some really high days within there, but it's in my own power. And I know when I go home and I go take my son to the doctor, I have no guarantees what's going to happen. I go to the doctor's myself today. I have to go to my uncle's house and drop off some of the stuff that like I've cleaned out and decluttered from my garage. Now I'm going to go clutter up his house, but the intent is to have like a garage sale and then donate everything. So there's already a bunch of things there that have, that is their final resting place for right now. I have projects and paperwork and things that I need to get done. And, I am really working hard on doing that and squeezing in all of a sudden where I had this really busy day and now my son needed his mom again. It's a challenge, and I'm trying to not be resentful for it because he doesn't want to be sick either. And, it's my choice to do that, but it's hard. It's difficult sometimes to get things done when you have other people in your life that you're responsible for. And I'm learning now that I don't need to be responsible for as many people as I thought I did. Yeah, my kids are always going to be my kids. My extended family and Chris, they will always be my family. Even if Chris and I don't work out, like, he will always be my family. But they're not my responsibilities, just as much as I am not theirs. My youngest son, of course he is. Like, he's not an adult yet. And even my 19-year-old, he's borderline, there's things that he still needs his mom for. But the other two, we're really transitioning into a phase where they learn how to have more independence for themselves. And I think that that's really important to move the ball forward. For me, getting that done and releasing that dependency, that codependency on one another is really critical because it allows me more time for my own independence and to move in this world in a way in which I feel proud and I don't feel resentful and I don't feel overwhelmed and exhausted and unsupported. And oftentimes that's my trigger. Like, I was going about my day having a good day, but when somebody comes into the environment and creates more work for me, right? Like, leaves your dishes in the sink, makes a mess on the ground, doesn't clean up. Well, Chris and I are not dealing with that right now. Like, this is his place, so he cleans up his stuff. Like, if anything, my stuff, because I'm living out of a few bags, like, is kind of scattered around. I don't have a home within here. And he says I can take the other closet, and he says I can do these things, but I have a home. And I know we're playing, we have this, the kids were joking yesterday. One of my kids was like, okay, this is the kid house. That's the parents' house, and, that's a weird thing, right? Like, I still am going home. Like, I still want to be home. That's my home. That's, where my kids are. That's where my safety is. And I'm learning how to be out of my comfort zone. It's been, quite a few days now, and I'm still not quite home yet, and I'll be there soon. And then again, our life is going to change because I can't be here every day. And there's parts of me that would love to, but there's also parts of me that wants to be at my home and with my kids and have dinner with them. And life gets a little chaotic this time of year anyways, because there's soccer practices and there's soccer games. And so we're not sitting around having dinner anyways. We are expected to have a couple guests that are coming in the next couple weeks. 2 of my kids are leaving for a few days or weeks to go visit their significant other or just go on a vacation. So life is going to be a little bit unstable for the foreseeable future. So it's important for me to get things done in order to still feel safe in an unsafe and uncertain environment and continue to move my life forward and have that mental clarity, that physical clarity and space to create this new canvas of life that I want to live. And so for you, have there been tasks? Are there like me, sometimes I have like a million tabs that are open on my computer, and I've got piles of mail that I have to go through. Like, getting things done and getting them done, not only do you get the space, but you also get this sense of like, I did that. Like, finally, it's gone. It's off my mental to-do list. It's off my counter. It's whatever it is. So are there tasks that you have been putting off that you would benefit from getting them done? Then I'm going to encourage you today to get those tasks done. And I don't mean you have to do it all. Like, if you have 12 stacks of papers that you need to go through, no, don't set yourself up for failure. Set yourself up to win. Today's day 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some of the task. We're going to do 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We're going to do 1 stack. However you want to, rationalize it for what you can really do. Ask yourself, what can I really do today and not feel overwhelmed, not feel discouraged? What can I do to feel really safe, really confident, really accomplished, and set that as your goal? Then you have other days to get to the other 11 piles or the other stack or whatever it is. there is time, and don't feel like you have to do it on some certain timeline. Do it on your timeline and feel that, just like with my weight loss journey, where you feel that, like, I did that. Okay. It seemed really hard. I thought it was going to take so much more time, and it wasn't. You start building the confidence and the time, and as you keep going, momentum builds, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh man, I have enough time to do 2 stacks of paper while I watch TV or whatever it is. Find the time, get those tasks done so that your mental space and your physical space can be used doing things that you want to be doing, designing this life that you're proud of. And so I want to tell you, I'm really proud of you. I know it doesn't matter if I am proud of you. What really matters is if you're proud of you, but I'm really proud of you, and I really want to celebrate you. Please, please, please comment below some of the tasks you're working on. I have a stack of papers over here. I've got to call the USPS. I got to send some documents in. Today, that's what I'm working on, in addition to going to the gym, filming this, uploading a thing, like I being a mom, driving kids around, making some meals, going to my uncle's house, hanging up some curtains, like going to a doctor's appointment of my own. So yes, life is crazy, but I'm so grateful to be having the pleasure of living it. And I'm so grateful that you have found this and that you've listened this far. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. Please go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you. Bye.